Then may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Live from Columbus, Ohio, it's Motown Downtown.
Motown Downtown, come on down to Motown Downtown.
Today's guest, Blaze 4K.
Come on down to Motown Downtown.
My name is Tyson Bruno, and here's your host, Mo Chocolate.
Come on down to Motown Downtown.
We are so back! What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Motown Downtown Season 3.5, where we are here to make sure that you have a wonderful time and the greatest time. That's right. That's right. So, we've been gone for a while, a long while, actually, but we are back, y'all, and better than ever. So, with that being said, let's welcome today's very special guest, shall we? Drum roll, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the perfect guest to start the new season. When we started the new season, we knew immediately we had to get him on the show. He is the founder of Solid Cast, arguably one of the greatest gaming podcasts of all time. So please, put your hands together for the man, the myth, the legend, Blaze 4K!
What's up, Mo? How you doing, brother?
What is up, Blaze?
What's up, bro? I'm glad to be here, man. It's been long overdue.
Very much overdue, bro. Like I said, man, I told you this off camera, but like when we started the new show, I'm like, we gotta get Blaze on the show, man. Big fan of you, big fan of Solid Cast. So to have you on here on the show, thank you so much, man. Thank you.
No, it's not a problem at all, Mo. I owe you. Trust me, I owe you.
So yeah, so for anyone watching us right now who has no idea who you are, tell us a bit about yourself.
You know, I'm a failed YouTuber. But, you know, listen, man, I started this YouTube thing. A couple people, you know, they influenced me into making a channel, Jack Move, Solid Rev. And I seen, I was watching a lot of videos, especially Rev early on, and it you know, it made me wanna. I said, you know what, I can do this shit too. And I was always good with my words and quick on my feet. So I figured, you know what I mean, let's give it a shot. And it was really a passion project, but it just turned into a little bit more than that. But at the end of the day, I feel like you still have to have the passion to do this, or you're gonna die out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you definitely have a voice for a podcast radio, bro. You really do.
I appreciate that, bro.
So, like, tell me about, so before we get into the topics, I want to know more about Blaze 4K, the gamer. So, like, tell us your early days as a gamer. Like, were you team Nintendo, PlayStation, or Sega?
Oh, that's tough. My first console was an NES, but I remember going over to my cousin's house, and he had a Sega. He had the Master System. So
Nice.
I was just fortunate to have both. You know, just like I would just have to go down the street, and my cousin had, you know, we were playing Sonic and shit like that, and I just vividly remember Mortal Kombat being much better on Sega. It was just gorier, blood. I just remembered that stuff, and I always thought Sega was cool. I was always confused on why Nintendo was blocking out things like blood and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
For real.
And what was interesting back then is like you would have, let's say, Batman Returns. You would have both versions on, say, on on the Nintendo, on the Sega, and they would be slightly different. You know what I mean? Art style different. It was just cool. It was a different time. And but as I grew older, I stayed with Nintendo. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, once I hit N64, that was like my true first console. Saved up my money. Yeah, N64 is just the GOAT to me, man. I mean, that console, man, it was just no mercy. WrestleMania 2000, just living on that shit 24/7. Smash Brothers,
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye 007.
Oh,
You
yeah.
already know.
Oh yeah.
Golden Gun. What an excellent game, dude. Oh my
For
God,
real.
that game's. So yeah, I was a big Nintendo fan. And then, you know, the Dreamcast came out, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It had online functionality. I could play online. And but the big problem with the Dreamcast was there was this big shadow, aka the PlayStation 2, looming over it, coming out cheaper. DVD player. It was just. There wasn't much Sega could do.
Nothing. Nah.
It's unfortunate because the Dreamcast, I do feel like, you know, it's a gem. It was ahead of its time, but yeah, like I said, I hopped around. Like I listen, you know me as a PlayStation guy, but I've always owned or played all the consoles. That's at the bottom line. I'm gonna go where the games are gonna go. You know what I mean? There's great games on all platforms. That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
so.
You're not team PlayStation, even though there's a PlayStation symbol right next to you. You're not team PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. You are team gamer, basically, right? Whatever console, platform, whether it's PC, consoles, mobile, whatever. If they have a game you want, you will play it there, basically, right?
Well, I don't know about mobile, but yeah, I listen. You know, if there's a good game, and you know, that's why I think it's important if you're an adult or you're able to own multiple consoles, I always strongly recommend it. And listen, I am a PlayStation guy. That's my core. That's where I personally think they give me the best experiences in terms of first party games. And you know, it is what it is, bro. But you know, if Xbox drops a good game, like when E-Day Gears of War comes out, when Doom comes out, like these are games I gotta play. So
same here, man. So now, what I want to know is, like, you mentioned earlier that you would like watch Rev and other people like do a content and stuff, but like was Rev your biggest inspiration to start content creation, or were there others? Like, tell me the whole process of like, you know what, I want to start doing this now.
Yeah, definitely Rev was a huge inspiration for me. Hell yeah, shout out to Rev, man. I just remember him doing this and he's like, yeah, dude, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it started off like, yeah, just make a video, upload a video. And that's what it started. He's like, what games you like to play? And I remember just playing Dark Souls, and I was just so excited to share out my video, you know, and if anybody left a comment or liked it, I'm like, holy shit, it's got 42 views, like, you know what I mean? So I remember just being like constantly checking that to see if anybody had left a comment. It was just exciting. It was exciting times. Yeah, I would say Jack and Rev were huge inspirations for me to do YouTube.
Nice.
You know, I didn't really start taking YouTube seriously until like, I would say like 6 years ago. My channel, the name on it, I think it's like 8 years old, but I really didn't start like consistently doing doing consistent video stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm glad I did, man. I met some great people on here, man. Like some great people.
So like,
including yourself. So
hey, the honor's all mine, bro. But like, so now my next question is, tell us, like, everyone has a unique story on their online username. So what's the story behind the lore behind Blaze 4K? Like, why that username specifically?
My name, everybody like knows me, even Rev and Jack, all these guys. My old name used to be Blaze Piff, Piff.
I like that.
But I remember calling PlayStation for something. I think my kid had charged up my credit card. I'm like, what, what the hell's going on? And they're like, can you give me your username? And I'm like, yeah, Blaze Piff. And I remember the guy like getting a laugh out of that. I'm like, oh, you think that name's funny? Like, no, I just know what you like to do in your spare time. And I'm like, so at that time, I'm like, all right, maybe down the line I'll change my name. At that time, 4K was just starting to get out there, and I remember buying a 4K TV. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like I could never go back to not only a tube TV, but like 1080p is just too pixelated. I'm 4K everything going forward, and it just stuck with me. Everybody just started calling me 4K, and then I just attached Blaze 4K and got rid of the Piff. But I still like to, enjoy myself from time to time. I'll say that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, that's complete. It's legal now where I live,
It's legal.
so go for it.
It's legal here too. Yeah,
Hell
it's
yeah,
legal
then go
here,
for it. It's hey, we are in the adult world. We need all the things to relax us.
Hell yeah.
For real. So going back to Rev now, and I swear not every question is about Solid Rev. I swear. But like,
No, bring it on. Rev's my guy, bro.
he is, yeah. So how did y'all become like friends? How do you go from watching him on YouTube and being like, let's be real, like best friends now?
So I was playing Destiny 1. Destiny 1 I was playing, and I met this guy named Dumars. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but that's Rev's boy. And I was in a party chat with him when we were playing Destiny. And then Solid Rev joined. But at first I didn't really know it was Solid Rev because his name was Exposing Lames. So, I'm hearing his voice and he's like, oh, that's, so someone mentioned Rev, like the YouTuber. I'm like, no way, that Solid Rev, the YouTuber. And from there, we were playing Destiny, and then me and Dumars stayed cool, but like from there I just started playing Destiny religiously with Rev, like to the point where we were playing all night, 24 hours. Like we had everything memorized. Rev chest, we'd drive forward on a Sparrow, stop. Rev would be chest, open the chest. Like we did this. Like I have 5,000 hours on Destiny. I don't know how much Rev has, but basically we just started gaming together heavily. And yeah, from there we just became really cool. And Rev was a person that I looked up to and trusted on the internet, because it's it's the internet. But yeah, no, I've always found like me and him always we just clicked, man. We just clicked, and we just started gaming, and just finding out who Rev is and what he can tolerate and what he hates. It took a few years to understand like who Rev is and what he likes and what he don't like,
For real, yeah. The first video I saw of him was Xbox One is the future or something, where he's like dogging PS4, but just like screaming about how much Xbox One will be better. And I know he was, now I know he was acting, but back then I thought he was being for real. So I'm just like, go on.
I think he was half, I feel like he was, he's a very good actor, but I feel
very good.
But I feel like a lot of that is how he feels at that moment. He's just exaggerating it a little bit,
But yeah, but the way the way he was, the way he projected his voice, I'm like, this guy has a powerful voice. I'm gonna sub to him, and I've just been a fan of him ever since. So yeah, shout out to a Rev. But like,
yeah, Rev, you got to get Rev on here next. I'll reach out
Rev,
to him.
I will be in touch. Hell yeah. So you guys become friends, and then tell us the birth of Solid Cast. Like, was this your idea, his idea, and was it like hard to convince him to do a podcast? Let us know.
The birth of Solid Cast is I think we're playing a game, we're doing something either on the phone or on the computer. I'm like, dude, listen. Everybody out here has a fucking podcast. I said, you're a huge channel. All right. Like, you need a podcast. Let's do a podcast. And listen, I'm not going to lie. A lot of that was like, number one, I truly think Solid Rev is a great speaker. He should have a podcast. Secondly, I think it was beneficial for me to, like, hey, I'm gonna be a part of this thing. Like I always wanted to be like, do more with Rev in terms of content creation. So this was the perfect way. So I, I, I don't know how I did it, but I convinced him to do a podcast. And, he's like, well, what the hell are we going to call this trash? And we started calling it like the Trash Cast at first. Like you'll see, like the first episode was called the Trash Cast. But I'm like, no, Rev. I said, listen, it's not that hard. Solid cast. You're solid, Rev, number one, solid. But solid as in a group of guys. Like, hey, this is a solid cast of guys. And it just made sense because it was solid Rev, number one, his first, solid. And then the solid cast of guys. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, you know what? That ain't bad. But we stuck with the trash. We always called it the Trash Cast because we always thought, like, we're two idiots just talking on the mic. And, you know what I mean? Just who the fuck wants to hear this shit? So, but yeah, that's how it started. I'm glad he listened to me, you know what I mean? And then I think Rev was between work and life and everything, he just couldn't he couldn't continue it any further on his channel. Those 5-6 episodes are still up on his channel to this day. But he just gave me the keys and I took it from there, and I just felt like I had to expand it because Rev's picky with guests, so I figured and so am I kind of, but I'm more, I can tolerate more people. So I just started expanding it. We started doing it on my channel. Rev was there literally every other week, Solidcast back in the day, every Wednesday, every other week. So we started doing that. Me, him, BitCloud helped out a lot at the time.
BitCloud.
Yeah, shout out to BitCloud with the OBS and shit like that. Yep. So
and also,
and now,
let's get a shout out for Meds, who is in the chat. What's up, Meds? Yeah, right now.
Shout out to Meds, and see, Meds has been someone I've heavily leaned on. You know what I mean? Meds has been a big help for me too, being there consistently, helping me out a lot with the show.
Thank you, Mods. Thank you, Mary. You're so awesome, friend.
Shout out to Meds though. No, he's been there with me. So me and Meds been carrying the torch right now. And when Rev can come on, he can come on, and we've just been fluctuating guests. So no, it's been good. It's been a good ride. I want to continue to grow it. I'm doing After Hours. After Hours is a late night show. No structure. The community can leave free questions. You don't got to super chat, even though people still super chat. I just tell them, dude, leave the question in the Discord. We do the After Hours. Me, Jack, Move, Lazy, my boy TJ sometimes, and then whoever decides to pull up, like Cage or whoever wants to, they're welcome to come. So, but nah, big shout out to all the guys that helped me for real, because I can't do it by myself, man. So I really appreciate everybody, the Lazies, the Meds, everybody that's ever helped me in the past, the Big Clouds, all you guys. So I appreciate you guys.
So do you have any favorite memories from all those years of Solidcast that stand out? Like your funniest memory, your favorite memory? Like what's like a core memory with Solidcast that really stands out?
I would say there's been a lot of great moments and a lot of funny moments. Really, some good moments, some serious moments, some learning moments. But just a standout, just one to throw out there. When I had this, I ordered this. I got tricked online. There was this big, fat, juicy ass on Etsy. It was like one of them fake.
I remember that episode. Yeah. Oh God, that episode. Yeah.
And I ordered it, and it came in, and it was the size of my fist. I'm like, what the? And I showed my girl, and we just started laughing. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So, I had that day when it came in, I had just tossed it. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? But I was telling the guys on the podcast, and Rev's like, bullshit, go get it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to get it, and there's like a little GIF going around, there's like a little dynamic GIF that's like 4-second loop, and I'm just smacking the ass, and everybody's like looking at it like, just disgusted or laughing.
That was
funny.
Hilarious, because I'm honestly got surprised that, did that video get demonetized or anything?
Yeah, no, it didn't. Surprisingly,
I'm surprised. No. Wow.
Dude, I don't monetize the podcast at all. The only thing that I get monetization wise is super chats and memberships, but I don't actually put ads on the podcast at all. It's completely
All right.
ad free. Because dude, I feel like that disrupts the flow of shit. If you're listening to it, and then an ad pops up, like who wants to deal with that? I wouldn't want to.
That's a good point. Yeah, just another way you're like looking out for the viewers. So that's awesome of you, buddy. So my
I
last
wouldn't want to listen to it.
my last question for Solidcast is: what can we expect from Solidcast in 2025 and beyond? Like, what are some upcoming plans you can tell the audience?
Well, listen, I always say I want to do more. We need to do more. Shout out to Meds for getting everything on all the Apple Music, Spotify's that's on there. We got a Twitter account now.
Nice.
But I want to do more. That's why I feel like After Hours is more of a community-driven show. We worked hard on that, especially my guy Lazy with the intros and the all the new logos and shit. But I want to do more in terms of like more community shit. So more game nights, shit like that. I really want to do game nights with the community.
Hell yeah.
And that's a way I feel like I can bring people involved. Maybe have like a little game night, and the winner, have some winners and can win some free prizes, free money, whatever, stuff like that. But I more than anything, I just gotta stay on top of it, stay consistent with it. That's all I gotta do. So.
Okay. Yeah, you've been very, very, very consistent, bro. Say, I
appreciate that.
love the after hours thing, and whatever y'all do for gaming night, count me in. If I'm available, I will be there.
Let's go.
So my first topic for today is, of course, the one thing everyone's talking about. Let's talk about the Nintendo prices for the Nintendo Switch 2. Blaze 4K, what do you think?
Yeah, look. I'll say this about Nintendo. I have a few nitpicks about it, but like the price increase is a little crazy, in my opinion. And I know it's like, well, 70 to 80, what's the difference? You know what I mean? And I'll just say this: when I played these games growing up, playing Nintendo games, I never would have thought 20 years down the line I would be playing, or Nintendo would have the same games. You know what I mean? The games I was playing as a kid, they're still Nintendo's front runners. They're still Nintendo's AAA bangers, which is crazy to me. I'm like, when you really think about it from that perspective, like, damn, I grew up playing these games, and 20 years later, Nintendo still has these games. Like, these are the same games. And all I want from Nintendo is a little bit of evolution,
Variety.
just variety. Maybe take a chance, make a mature rated game. Maybe the fidelity of a Ratchet and Clank in one of their games. You know what I mean? Like, you see Ratchet and Clank got a cartoon art style, but it looks, you know what I mean?
High quality.
You get what I'm saying?
High quality. AAA.
In terms of visuals, Nintendo has high quality games, period. Their gameplay, the games come out, they work. I'm not talking about how they play and how you interact with them. I'm just talking about I just want Nintendo just to take, make some mature rated games and maybe step up the fidelity of their games. And I feel like they made some strides with the 4K, 120 hertz.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I never thought I would see 4K and Nintendo in the same sentence, but it's cool. Like I said, I still want them to have achievements. I still think it's important.
Give us achievements, please, Nintendo. Give us achievements, please.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
I feel like a lot more people would play their games and complete their games and want to complete. I just feel like, there's no, like, you sign on to your Switch, you can't see anything. All you can see is Mo Chocolate played Pokemon for 10 hours. I can't send you a message. I can't react to one of your posts. I can't, so I feel like they took some steps forward, but again,
10 steps
I'm
back.
not asking for anything that's not the standard, whatever's the industry standard. You know what I mean? Profile, achievements, a messaging system. They got a party system now, but again, I know that's a great thing. They got party system, but like, you see what's going on with PlayStation, or these people recording you and reporting your you
Yeah.
lose your account.
Yeah.
It's too risky. So at the end of the day, the only thing that anybody should really be using if they're smart is a Discord chat. So that's my only
Facts.
thing. Like, yeah, they added party chat, they added this, they added that, but let's be honest, people use Discord.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like they made some steps forward. Like I said, I don't want to be too harsh on them, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
My thing is that I'm glad it's not 90, thank God. But it's just what I wanted from the Switch 2, I got. But I can't defend those prices, man. I don't think like one game is 70, one game is 80, one game is 50. I don't like that. Let's keep all games at the same price, man. That's just me,
That's
though.
how it used to be.
Yeah.
That's how it used to be. You remember I think it was N64 or Super Nintendo? They had games.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
were 50, some were 90. You know what I mean? They were all over the place. The one thing I'll say is Nintendo games hold their value. So when you buy a game, they hold their value.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's like when
and
when I bought Tears of the Kingdom for $70, I hated that it was $70. But after playing the entire game, I'm like, yeah, that the price. There's enough content in this game to justify that price. I thought at least.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it might be the same thing with Mario Kart World. Like, I love Mario Kart and what they showed, what the game can do. To me, I think the price does justify it, but it's still too much, if you ask me.
I agree.
But,
No,
like,
it's too much.
It's funny,
And
though.
think of their budget, Mo. Think of
Yeah.
their budget.
It's so
You gotta
small.
look You got to think, to make Spider-Man, it's, whatever, 300
yeah,
million.
yeah.
I feel like that in itself is justifies a price tag, like I wonder what these budgets are. Like, you never hear about how much it took to make Mario. Like, you never hear none of this shit on the Nintendo side. I don't know why it's never like there. But I would love to know the budget on some of these games.
I highly doubt it's over 100 million. Maybe like 80 or 90 million. I highly doubt it's more than 100 million. I'll be surprised.
They're making
if it
hand over
is.
fist. That's what that means.
Pretty much, yeah. But speaking of the prices, did you see that clip of Nintendo's president saying, "Oh, if the Switch 2 is too expensive, play the Switch"? I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, Microsoft did this years ago. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah,
What do you think of that?
History repeats himself, Mo. And if you live in a submarine, buy a 360. It's basically the same thing. If you can't afford it, like even the PS3, like the next generation don't start until the PS3's out. Like you can't come on and say that shit, bro. Especially when your console's expensive and you're. You know what I mean? So I feel like these companies never learn, but we'll see.
Money talks.
I don't think money talks, and I don't think anybody's gonna speak with their wallet more. People are gonna complain, they're gonna nag, but they're still gonna go out and buy this shit. So
Yeah,
I don't think none of this is matter.
I'm not buying the Switch 2 until like, I don't know, August or something, because I have like a trip I'm going on in July. That's taking all my money, bro. But when I come back, yeah, I'm buying my shit day one if it's still available. But what was your reaction when you saw Elden Ring coming to the Switch 2?
Yeah, no, listen, man, I love it. I love to see it. You know what I mean? I think the only Firm Software game they even have on the Switch is Dark Souls Remastered, which I own. But I think it's a beautiful thing that I still think Firm Software games, their market is PC and PlayStation. But I don't think that. I mean, that's what it is. But I think it's a great thing. I think the more games Nintendo can bring over, especially Elden Ring, it was a massive hit, massive hit. And I think the more third-party games like Call of Duties, if they can get stuff like that, I think it's only going to benefit the Switch at the end of the day. So
that's one thing I will say that they do better than PlayStation or Xbox is that their online service is like $4 a month. So I prefer that. Whereas Sony fucking 160, get the fuck out of here. But speaking of Sony, like, so now I was going away from Nintendo. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 6. So everyone is saying that there's a good chance that the game is $100. What do you think, Blaze 4K?
if anybody can pull it off, it's 2K and Rockstar. I mean, and I think people wouldn't even blink
Bat
an
an
eye.
eye,
You
yeah.
know, they might complain a little bit on Twitter, but I think people would buy it, you know. And then we got to look at, you know, a lot of people are buying deluxe edition games, $120, $140. You know what I mean? So if they did it, I think I think people would still buy it. I think it's a slippery slope though, because then it, you know, it can start a whole trend of other games. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be careful here. You know, when consoles are costing $400 and games are 100.
Ugh,
You know what I mean? It's just, you think about it, like, damn, 4 games, I can buy a console with that. You know what I mean? So it's it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I think 2K can't get too greedy, because they're gonna sell so many fucking copies of this game that it doesn't matter if they sell it for 70, 80, 100. I mean, they're, you know, the thing's gonna fly off the shelves. I'm real excited for GTA. I gotta see what they've improved on, what a next gen Grand Theft Auto looks like, because we've been playing the same
yeah.
PS3 Grand Theft
I'm
Auto
done.
with
I'm
minor
so
updates.
done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, I personally hope it's like 70 and maybe a special edition one with a statue and maybe some multiplayer stuff is 100. That's fine. But I mean, if let's say it is $100, I'll be disappointed, but I'm still going to buy it because it is GTA 6. It's going to be the biggest game ever. So yeah, I will cop that shit day one. But I will admit I am part of the problem if I do. So
Hell yeah, no, I'll buy it too.
moving away from that, have you played South of Midnight yet? If so, what are your thoughts?
I have not played South of Midnight. I've been watching I think, yeah, Jack Move's been streaming it. He's, you know, he's been really enjoying that. The thing about South of Midnight is I've been hearing mixed reviews. Some
Yeah.
people say they love it. Some people say it's a, you know, it's an interesting dark story. True, you know, it's one of those games where I'm like, you know Mimo. It's like, it's really it's got to do something special to bring me in. It's just not my type of game, you know. I mean, art style wise, but the people that I did see play it, they seem to be enjoying it. So
Yeah.
don't got much on that, Mo. I just haven't played it.
That's fine. I actually like dusted off my Series X and activated the Game Pass so I can play it. I know you hate that word, sorry, but yeah, I'm just like, my Series X has been like not being used since, like, I don't know, July of last year. So it gives me a excuse to dust off the Series X and play a game for once. But yeah, honestly, I like it. I love that it's a combination of Uncharted and God of War, kind of, with the combat and the climbing and stuff. The low frame rate look, it took time for me to get used to it, but overall I do like it's something different. So I'll give them that.
You said God of War.
Well, just
and
because
Uncharted?
it's a hack and slash.
Okay.
So yeah, so I love hack and slash. I like the climbing mechanics. So overall, I'm actually really enjoying it. Not
Yeah, I'm glad.
not like it's not on par with God of War, obviously, but it's like it's the closest I can think of in terms of hack and slash.
Really?
Yeah,
All right,
I really enjoyed it.
maybe I'll have to look more into it. I don't know.
So the next 4 questions is all related to Naughty Dog, good or bad. But basically, so Last of Us complete on PC. Well, what do you think, Blaze?
I think it's good that you know, the PC guys have a nice little series. Whether you like the direction of how the story took place, or you like the new characters, and I still think they're quality games. I still think people will enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, you got to understand, these ports have been kind of screwed up, especially Last of Us. The port was a running meme for a while. But you know, hey, at least it's complete on PC. You can play it, see the story through, and I think it was selling for what, $50. So, you know what I mean? I think it's cool. Let the guys play it. Let them play it.
I'm just like, Sony, how many times can you gonna sell the same game to us?
Oh,
Seriously?
you're talking about the PS5 completed.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
bringing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, stop, please.
Yeah, they're getting out of control with that shit, dude. I mean, who really needs that? Who asks for that? The games are accessible. They're on the store. You can go out and buy these games. Like, I don't understand the need. You know what it is.
The TV show.
It's the TV show coming up, so you know what it is, Mo.
It's just for the 5 people who have not bought either of those games yet. 'Cause I feel like by now, your core demographic, we all bought these games. We all platinumed it. Why is Sony being Sony, man? So I'm just like, really? Another one? Stop. I see why Jack Moo Johnny has been disappointed, man. Because I'm just like, what are y'all doing? But,
Yeah.
so what are you looking next question, are you looking forward to season 2 of the TV show?
No.
Me too. I'm not even gonna watch it, bro. I'll watch some of the clips on YouTube, but here's the thing. Like you said, bro, the graphics, the gameplay, voice acting, top tier. I hate that story, man. I fucking hate the story of Last of Us Part 2. I know Lazy likes it. Wait, does he like it, or he likes it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lazy.
He loves
I
it.
cannot get behind the story. And just real quick, I hate the fact that they go out of their way to make Ellie unlikable, but they make Abby likable. That's what I can't stand. Like, they're trying so hard to make you not like Ellie, but fall in love with Abby, and I hate that. Like, by
the forced flashbacks and all that. Yep.
By the end of the game, I was more of a fan of Abby, and I hated that. Because I went into this game like, I want to see more Ellie and Joel, but by the end of the game, she is not even recognizable, bro. It's like, Neil Druckmann said he loves these characters. Bullshit. This is the ending? You gave a character you love PTSD, and nothing was resolved? Neil Druckmann, fuck you. I'm sorry. Fuck you, man. But yeah, moving on to the next question. Is Intergalactic. What do you think, Blaze?
That's tough for me because I'm a big space junkie. I love that. I love the whole retro, the Porsche, the Adidas sneakers. I like a lot. I like the whole vibe of the game. I like that it's going to be melee based. I want to see what Naughty Dog does with that. I like the whole setting. It's just, I feel like Neil's got a thing for bald-headed girls with tattoo sleeves. But I can't say that. I am gonna. I'm buying this day one.
Yeah.
I am gonna play it. I have to see it through. Like I said, I'm a big fan, number one, of Naughty Dog, and I'm a big fan of that whole synth wave, retro wave space theme. It's super interesting to me, and to see a next gen Naughty Dog game, because we haven't seen it. The last game was Last of Us Part 2, which is a PS4 game. But like I said, I think Neil legit likes bitches with sleeves, tattoo sleeves, and bald heads. Like, I think he likes that look.
Because I was actually at the Game Awards in the audience when they announced that trailer, and people were like screaming, and we were excited. But then when I rewatched the trailer, I'm like, everything else besides the main character, I love. It reminds me of Cowboy Bebop, but as a video game.
Yeah.
I'm like, if this is a hack and slash game where you travel to different planets and like fight monsters with a fucking sword, sign me up. Like, for me, the main character doesn't look that bad. I would design her differently, me personally. But overall, I think she's okay. But I see why people are upset. If she looked more like, what's her name? From Uncharted, the hot chick with the big butt. What was her name? Chloe?
Chloe.
If she looked like that, I'd have no problem, basically. But my thing is, like, all these people online complaining, oh, she's so ugly, I can't jerk off to her, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as this game gets, like, 95 on Metacritic, all them people complaining, they will buy that shit day one, pretty much.
Yeah, and
for a fact.
And you know what else, Mo? It's like, she's hunting men. You know what I mean? So that's the other, that's the other narrative they say Neil's pushing. Like, it's a girl hunting down men to kill them. You know what I mean?
I thought it was monsters.
Yeah, but you've seen the what do they call it?
Oh,
the Fab
yeah,
Five,
yeah,
the group
yeah,
that
yeah.
she used to be with.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna be killing monsters. You're gonna have to deal with your old group of friends that you used to have, be with. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Like I said, I am excited for it. I can't lie about it, but you know, we'll see. I mean, it's too early. We haven't really seen
Yeah.
much. We got a little idea what the
Yeah.
universe is gonna be like, but we gotta see more. I feel like people are too quick to just write off something or suck it off at the same time. You know what I mean? So I want to see a little bit more on that.
That's Twitter for you. So next question is whenever they start working on the next God of War game, do you want it to play more like God of War 4 and Ragnarok or the old school God of War games?
Um,
I mean, for me, without a doubt, the old school version of the God of War games. I want that the way God of War 3 was played. Bring that shit back, bro. God of War 3 is still my favorite game of all time to this day. It just it's so I love it. So like
God of War 3 is amazing, man.
bring back
God of
those
War
games.
2 is amazing.
Bring back the sex mini games. Bring back the scale. That's something Ragnarok was missing. The scale where you're fighting a giant.
No, they can't go back. That's the problem. I think people.
They can. They just don't want to because they're so
If
PC
they-
now.
No, but I feel like remaster God of War the collection. Like you want to remaster, you want to put all this money towards these other games, like. Put out God of War 3, update the graphics. Listen, I'm excited as long as I'm not playing as Atreus. I'm
Facts.
excited for God of War in Egypt or wherever they go back to Greek. Whatever they decide to do, I'm over the Norse, I'm over the snow, I'm over but I want blood. I'm sick of the orange guts. I want God of War. I want Kratos to be Kratos. I want it to be visceral. I want it to be intense. I want it to be God of War, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't mind either gameplay style, the top-down perspective. I like them both. I truly do. But I think now that people are used to this version of God of War, I would think Sony would stay with that version of it. It wouldn't, I don't think it would make any sense for them to go back to that style of camera.
Well, what if they like remade the first God of War game?
If they remade it, they would have to remake it to how true to the game. Like
Yeah.
they would have to make it like the old camera perspective.
Yeah.
But there's still so much you can do. You can just in terms of fidelity, visuals, all that. There's still so much they can do. And to me, I don't mind both versions. I get the when people say, "Oh, God of War is better," and listen, I love all the God of Wars. The only one I'm like, is Ascension, but even
yeah.
but I like the Ascension. Even I like the multiplayer side of it.
Me too.
It wasn't bad. It was cool. So,
I just want TC Carson to come back, man. No disrespect to Christopher Judd, you do an amazing job, but I miss that TC Carson Kratos voice, bro. I miss it.
yeah, no, it was dope. I think Judge is doing a good job though.
Yeah, for real. So, next question. How excited are you for the Death Stranding movie, bro? You were like the Death Stranding cheerleader of the community, pretty much. So, like, how excited are you for the movie?
I don't know. I don't want to say excited, but I'm you know what, they usually fuck up these movie games, Mo Chocolate. They usually the video games doesn't translate well into a movie format. I don't know why. I don't know how they, but traditionally, there's been a few good ones, but so again, I would have to see who they're casting, how it turns out, because usually when they bring over a video game and just inject it into a movie, for some reason, whether it's budget, whether they don't care, whether it's the casting, it ends up being throwaway. So, but Death Stranding 2, on the other hand, coming out this year.
Day one buy.
Day one, all day.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Like, when I played Death Stranding, it took me a while for the game to click for me, because there were just so many things on screen, how to do what. It was confusing for me. My brother had to come over and, like, show me how to do this, do that, and once I learned that hurdle, then the game just clicked for me. It's like, it's not really a walking simulator because I was on a motorcycle 95% of the time. I rarely ever walked anywhere. So it's so yeah the story, the combat, and there's actually quite a bit of scenes where you're like shooting people and stuff. So yeah, I love it. It's the thrill of like getting a package and delivering it is so satisfying, bro. It really is.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. That's really the highlight of the game. You know, the people, they criticize it for delivering packages, but the delivering packages part is literally the. I remember boss fights or when I was when you had to go do something else. I'm like, dude, just let me get back to the open world at my own pace and do what I want. Like I just want to. You know what I mean? Like Rev
Yeah.
said, I just want to deliver some packages, baby.
And the fact
mean?
that
So-
if I build a bridge right here, then you see
That's
that
cool.
bridge.
Yeah,
I love
it's cool.
that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Kojima, man. My thing is, as long as he's like producing or co-writing or like overseeing the movie, as long as Kojima is involved, I'll be excited. I mean, I'm surprised I'm surprised Kojima isn't directing the movie. Real talk. But
Low key, probably do a better job.
for real. Next question is Blaze, do you miss the E3 experience? Like, do you want that to come back? Like Sony and Microsoft holding a conference again and stuff. Like, do you miss the E3 experience?
Oh, of course, bro. E3 wasn't just for those. Yeah, though, Microsoft held a show, PlayStation held a show, and that was exciting. But it was the whole week of E3.
Yeah.
It was developer sit down, developer interviews. We were seeing a lot of game announcements, and then they would bring those developers in. They would talk about the game, talk about the features, show a little gameplay, and I felt like it was a 1 week extravaganza of just gameplay. New game, and those events. I mean, there's some memorable E3s. There's a lot of shitty ones. There's also some memorable E3. So I think it's unfortunate. I think COVID, a lot of shit happened where they realized, look, we can just live stream this, and it's gonna be effective, and people are gonna want and play the game and buy the game regardless.
Yeah.
To pay for a giant PlayStation sign and a
Millions
Spider-Man,
and millions of dollars, yeah.
It's just, to get all those people, organize them, get the hotels, it's a lot. It's a big event,
Have you ever gone to E3?
I have not.
I've gone to E3 5 times, bro. And every
Yeah,
time
Mo,
has
I
been
don't like crowds of people.
Oh man. But bro,
yeah, I'm
like
good.
I went to the Sony conference in 2015. Like I was in the audience when they announced like 7 Remake and Shenmue 3 and The Last Guardian. I was like almost front row seats, bro. That was a core
dope.
memory for me. I want that shit to come back.
That's dope.
Like maybe do like a PlayStation experience or something, a smaller venue where they announced, because I was in the audience when they announced Last of Us 2.
It's the PlayStation experiences are fire. Those are cool with the cards and stuff.
Yeah.
The problem is these little state of plays are just not.
They're not hitting
know,
it. They're not hitting.
they're not hitting, yeah.
Even the recent PlayStation Showcase was complete trash, where they showed a trailer of the Gran Turismo movie. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You're fired. So this next segment, Blaze 4K, is something I did with Cult Classic Cage and Big Cloud Gaming, and now I'm gonna do it with you. Basically, what I'm gonna do, Blaze, is I'm gonna say somebody's name in our circle of friends, and I want you to say the first word that pops up into your head. Okay?
All right.
All right. The first person is Cult Classic Cage.
Rowdy.
Big Cloud Gaming.
Trash bag.
Eric Cuts for the win.
Souls.
Facts. Oh no, it's Alex.
Banana.
Solid Rev.
Loyal.
True. Yes, true. Jack Move Johnny.
Jiggy.
Septic Sauce.
Allah Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Epic.
Shout out to gas.
Epic Treasure.
Uh, super friendly,
Super. And last but not least, meds.
my man.
Facts. That's always fun to do. So
No,
we,
that is. I'm just been, I'm obviously busting balls. So if anybody took any of those seriously,
hey, if you're not busting your friends' balls, are you actually friends? Facts.
exactly. Mo, you know what time it is. Come on.
For real, yeah. So now I want to talk about SOCOM. Blaze, you are quite literally the biggest SOCOM fan I know. So tell us one why you like it so much, and what do you want? If you were in charge of the next SOCOM game, what would you want in it?
I would want them to. There's been a lot of SOCOMs. There's been let's see, 1, 2, 3 combined assault, confrontation, all the PS. There's been a lot. There's been like 8 SOCOMs, maybe more. But I think Sony at that period, I'm talking SOCOM 4, between PS3 getting hacked, okay, and you're releasing a SOCOM game that people are buying primarily for the multiplayer. The network goes down for months, okay, so now they have this online shooter and they can't even utilize it for the most part. There's a campaign, but I think PlayStation needs to, if they were to bring back SOCOM, they need to make a tactical third person 8v8. 8v8. No vehicles, no kill streaks. Don't try to be Call of Duty. Don't try to be Battlefield. Just do what your core fan base of SOCOMers want, and that's an 8v8 tactical shooter. And if they have to modernize it and they got to throw in things you can earn, even though I'm against it, even if they want to throw in a battle pass just to keep, people from earning stuff, or just some sort of modern, whatever they want to do. But I think if they're gonna bring back SOCOM, it has to mirror SOCOM Confrontation or SOCOM 2. It's got to be a mixture of those two. The thing about SOCOM, it was tactical, it was team based, but it was serious. But at the same time, the movement was arcadey. You know what I mean? How you could move quickly and strafe. It was just a super addictive game.
And
I like,
it's third person, right?
and it's third person.
I
There's
love
just not-
that. I love that.
Yeah. Mo, there's no third person tactical shooters out there.
There isn't.
And I feel like there's a huge opportunity for them to just fill in that void. But I think everybody thinks that SOCOM isn't, it's not going to be Fortnite, and it doesn't have to be this juggernaut. Even though there used to be millions of people logging on to play SOCOM, believe me, it was, and I think it was Sony's first online game. It came with a headset. It was the first headset ever built for the PS2 was packaged with SOCOM. Facts. Okay.
Wow.
So it's not just the game. Like, this is the game that carried the PS2 in the early days, big time. The game that allowed you to talk to your computer, to your AI, and tell them what to go forward, move back, cover me. Like, this shit was super innovative at the time. This shit was incredible. It blew me away. And I just think if they're gonna make this, give me a quarter of Concord's budget, and I'll remake SOCOM myself. Just give me a quarter of their budget, and I'll remake SOCOM. A quarter.
I can't believe that game was 400 million. God damn, y'all could have made a game with that. Ugh. But we'll move away from that. But man, bro, yeah, I've never played SOCOM, but when I found out it was third person, like, I immediately wanted to play it. I can't stand first person shooters. The fact that it's third person is a big deal, but it's like, do you think? I mean, the most recent SOCOM game, was that a flop or something? Like, why they stopped making them?
Well, Zipper's last game was called Unit 13, and that was a PS Vita exclusive. And Unit 13 was back to the form. Like, it felt great. It was only a co-op shooter where you go through and shoot the AI, but like they must have not had a big budget. But the point is, Unit 13 felt excellent. It was back to form. It felt really good. and it's just a shame that Sony didn't give them an opportunity to to make a comeback. And I do think a lot of SOCOM's failure, yes, Zipper had a lot to do with it, but I think it was PlayStation's fault. You're telling Zipper that, hey, we got this light gun. You need to package. We need to utilize this light gun. So, like I said, SOCOM traditionally always got packaged with a microphone, a headset, a Bluetooth headset. That's how SOCOM was always been sold. But now you're telling me people gotta buy SOCOM and it's packaged with a light gun. You know what I mean? And the same thing for Killzone. Killzone got packaged with that same light gun shooter. It's like, listen, man, I understand it was that time, but like to fault them for that, you know what I mean? It was, like I said, it was a mixture of things.
Yeah,
SOCOM 4, the hack, all that, the Call of Duty, it was just, it launched with a lot of game modes that were staples like demolition mode. A lot of stuff weren't in the game. It was a complete mess, and it was them chasing a trend, trying to chase Call of Duty, trying to chase these newer games. And at the end of the day, people buy SOCOM for SOCOM, not to play like Call of Duty.
Now that laser thing you mentioned, is that the thing where you had to put in the PS Move in it? And
yes, yeah.
That was so dumb. Like, nobody I knew played that shit, man. I don't know why they were pushing that so badly. I mean, it's cool, yeah, but just give me a controller in my hand, I'm good, bro. So, Blaze, do you have time for one more question, then the top 10 questions? Bro. Okay, just making sure. So, last question is, do you think with Astrobot winning Game of the Year that we will see more platform games from not only PlayStation but from Xbox, or also more platform games?
Do you think we'll see more platform games?
Yeah. I mean, for a platform game to win Game of the Year, I feel like this will have everyone like, oh, people like platform games? Okay. You know what I'm saying?
But Mo, with that being said, you can look at it and say, yeah, it won Game of the Year. You can also look at the sales of it not selling really well. It sold like 1.5 million, 2 million copies. So do people really want this? Do people really love this? And look, the other thing I'm gonna say is it the state of gaming that it won Game of the Year?
Perhaps.
What does it say about the state of gaming for Astrobot to win Game of the Year? Now listen, with that being said, this has nothing to do with me. Astrobot is a super innovative platform. Like, I'm not a big platformer guy at all, but it was super.
I loved it.
Interesting. It was
so
like
much fun.
Everything you did in that game was unique. The DualSense controller just made you. It made it like, you know what? I'll say this about Astro. When you play Astrobot, it feels next gen.
Yes.
And that's It gives you a next gen feeling. Like there's something else going on here other than jumping on little platforms. It felt next gen. And I think it deserves another go at it. I think Astrobot's a great game. But I don't know if they're gonna look at it and say, look, we put a lot, out again. I don't know if the sales are good enough for PlayStation where they're expecting more. But at the end of the day, for it to win Game of the Year, for it to score as high as it did, I feel like that in itself should have another, have another go at it. So I hope Astrobot gets another chance. We'll see. But for a platformer, like I said, I'm not a platformer guy, but that shit was super innovative. It was super cool. The DualSense controller felt excellent. All the little techniques, all the memorabilia they did with the game, all the throwbacks to Killzone, Uncharted, the little levels, they were excellent. They were excellent. So
we got to see Bloodborne finally on PS5.
And Killzone on PS5.
Killzone, yeah. I mean, yeah, I did enjoy seeing the cameos and stuff, but that was like icing on the cake, man. The gameplay was so tight. It was legit a Nintendo game. That's why when they were like, thank you to Nintendo for inspiring this game, because let's be real, it basically was a high budget Nintendo game because it was so good. But I feel like because it was a smaller team working on this game, because when you look at games like Ghost of Tsushima, that was like, what, 60 million? I feel like Astrobot would be 70, 80 million maybe. I would be surprised if it's over 100 million.
If that, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the sales, Yeah, but the fact they won Game of the Year, that is just massive props to the team. So we are going to wrap things up now with the fan favorite section of the show called Top 10 Questions on Motown Downtown. Yes.
All right.
Top 10 questions. Hey, you got the questions? Top 10 questions. I got the answers. Top 10, top 10, top 10 questions. Better get your answers ready.
Where I will ask my guests 10 questions courtesy of Inside the Actor Studio. So, Blaze, are you ready?
Go ahead, bro.
All right, so the first question is, what is your favorite word?
Brother.
What is your least favorite word?
Cope.
What makes you happy?
Health.
What makes you upset?
Big cloud.
What sound or noise do you love?
Squishy sound.
What sound or
Okay.
noise do you hate?
Fine. I can't use Big Cloud again, damn it. Yeah, trophy pop. There you go. That's a good one too.
Facts.
Sure.
Facts.
That is an addicting sound.
What? Okay, Blaze 4K. What is your favorite curse word?
Prick.
Wow, so people usually say fuck, so you're the first one that did not say fuck. So thank you.
I got you, bro.
So, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Astronaut.
Wow, astronaut, huh? Yeah, I like space too. What profession would you not like to attempt?
Policeman.
Facts. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
One more round of applause, please, for our great friend Blaze 4K. That was
already know,
so much fucking fun, bro. Thank you again for coming out here tonight.
That's not a problem. That I can't even believe that zoomed by that fast. How long has it been?
It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
That was quick, Mo.
And it's funny because I have like more questions, but I know we're short on time, so I was like going by like the big ones basically. But thank you again, man, for coming out here. I'm gonna find somebody to raid. So while I do that, have some parting words for the audience.
Yeah, listen, I want to just say this, Mo. First of all, this is a pleasure for me to do. It's long overdue. I really feel like I owed it to you, and you know, this is me extending the olive branch. So you know what I mean? When it's solid cast, and like if you want to come on anytime, you don't need an invite. That's
Thanks,
what
man.
I'm giving you. You get the pass. You come on anytime, Mo. You add value to the show, and you've been an excellent friend. I appreciate you, really. I really do. He said raid tears, but shout out to the chat, and you do a good job here, Mo. It's unique. You sitting there dressed up in a tuxedo, like I feel like you put in the work to the show. It's a fun show. I gotta admit, I can't even believe it's over. Like I can't believe an hour just went by like that.
I honestly
crazy.
I want to keep going too. I really do. But hey, there is tomorrow for the solid cast, so stay tuned for that. So yeah,
Right.
One more shout out, please, for Blaze 4K. But yeah, man, this was a lot of fun. It feels good to be back, man. It feels so good to be back. We're so back, y'all. Well, we will be back again next Friday with another guest for Motown Downtown Season 3.5. We're going to go raid my friend Bambina Fofina. She's playing Fortnite right now. So, Blaze, you will be in charge of the raid message. What should we say when we enter her chat?
Yeah, I don't know. Who is this? Who is she to you?
My best friend.
Oh shit! What would you say to your best friend, Mo?
I'll just be like, happy Friday maybe, or happy weekend vibes.
You already know. Happy Friday. I like that.
Happy weekend vibes. Everyone
Hell
type
yeah.
that in her chat. If you're sub to me, use the raid emote, this one, If you're not subbed, then that's fine. Use the heart emote, this one. Boop, 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 that one. But yeah, I'll see you. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again, Blaze. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.